All right, we're back. Good morning. Another day on the stream here. What day is today? Thursday, September 4th. I have way too much stuff written down in the notes today. So we'll see what the crowd wants. We'll see what everybody wants. What directions we'll head in as we cover as much as we can, learn as much as we can, investigate as much as we can, all that type of stuff. Apologize for the ice chewing. I got the iced coffee. I'll try not to do that. But I am an ice chewer, so I have to kind of resist that temptation. All right. Let's just go right over to the standings while people get in here. All right. What are we working with now? AL East now 3.5 because the Red Sox and the Yankees lost. Blue Jays won. So back up to 3.5. Yankees game was crazy. Got a little testy, obviously. So maybe we'll watch some of that. Detroit now 10 up on the Royals. Astros 4 up on Seattle. Seattle got swept by the Rays. Do we have to take the Rays more seriously now? Not in the division, but they have won 6 in a row overall. Texas also lost, so they're still a game and a half behind. Oh, no. Yeah, they're a game and a half out of the wild card still. In the NL East, Phillies and Mets both lost, so 5.5 there. Milwaukee 6 over the Cubs. Dodgers 2.5 over the Padres. Wild card. We've got Texas game and a half out. They're the closest team to Seattle. Man, Seattle really getting swept by the Rays there. That did not feel good. For their chances. And it kind of lets the Rays back in. The Rays 2.5 behind them now. I think we're going to watch a little bit of that as well. Yandy Diaz, Junior Caminero. That's a pretty good combo right there. The Rays find a way, you know. Anyway, I think it's going to get a little spicy for that last playoff spot in the American League. National League, Giants won again. So now we might have to talk about them a little bit too. 10 out of 11. I'm chasing down the Mets. I still think they're fairly safe. But you never know. We've seen crazier things happen. 2011 Cardinals is one example of that. All right, so that is our standings. Let's go take a look at the scoreboard from last night. Nationals 10, Marlins 5. Tigers beat the Mets. This is the Helsley inning. We have to start looking at that. Probably wait till a few more people get in here to try to investigate Helsley at all. Rangers lose to the D-backs 2-0. This was Zack Gallen again. I was thinking about maybe looking at him a little bit today. He all of a sudden has slowly started to figure it out. I actually have him pulled up over here. Zack Gallen, if you go by splits, monthly splits, he was really scuffling. 5 ERA in April, 5.5 in May, 6.23 in June, 5.10 in July. So 4 straight disappointing months for one of the better pitchers in the game over the last few years. And then finally, August, 2.57, and then he had just had a scoreless start last night. So post All-Star break, at least things have normalized a bit. 1.08 whip. I looked a little bit under the hood last night because I'm a nerd, and it looked to me like he's kind of ditched the cutter. Finally, the cutter was kind of betraying him a little bit. So I don't know. I was curious maybe to watch his approach yesterday and see why it's suddenly working again, because that is a playoff race situation. Adam, if you were the Mets, would you have made a push for Gallen acquisition at the deadline? I mean, this is always these are tough questions to answer because ultimately, I don't know what the prices were. But I'm never going to give up on a guy like Zack Gallen. I've watched him pitch quite a bit. The fastball and the curveball combo with the changeup and the command. It's just a matter of time. He's been pretty much a workhorse most of his career. Last year, didn't get to the full 34 starts, but still made 28 of those things. So that's pretty damn good. I don't know. I'm a big fan of his. Let me just keep looking at the scoreboard before we figure it out. We're starting to get some folks in here. Pirates beat the Dodgers again. Dodgers just aren't really doing it. Now, did anybody see this Emmett Sheehan thing? Maybe that's the first place we'll start. I don't think we're going to be able to get a good view of it on the Dugout app, but you never know. Dodgers, Pirates. I wonder if anybody saw this yesterday. I got it sent to me through Reddit. So where's this dude? Devaney gets his first career hit here. And then Sheehan throws out the wrong ball. Is that what happens?
It is Cam Devaney, his first big league hit.
We're not going to be able to get a good view of this on the iPad. We would have to go to like another website, third-party website. So right after that, there was this. Anyway, basically, well, what he did, maybe I can try to figure this out in the meantime while I think about it. I'm just going to type his name in because it's going to pop right up. Everybody knows what just happened here. Anyway, basically what happened was he got the first hit ball. He gave up this guy's first career hit, and then it looks like he does some petty shit and decides to keep the first hit ball, and throw them the not first hit ball. I'd love to hear him if he had any quotes about this. I could see a reasonable explanation, like maybe he just had a brain fart, or maybe he saw a scuff on the ball, he didn't even think about it, that it was his first career hit. He was so locked in on what he was doing. Because if you look at him, he's got like a serial killer look on his face. He doesn't really show anything, so it's kind of hard to read that. I mean, we're not going to really be able to see anything here. All right, so he gets the new ball, pick it up in his fingertips, and then keeps the old ball, which is the first hit ball, and throws the new ball back out again. So that's what we're looking at. Issue is that he does throw the ball to the Pirates dugout asking for it. Oh, that's true. So he sees them asking for the ball. That should have clicked into his mind. That should have immediately clicked into his mind. That yeah, this was like a first career hit, a milestone ball. Yeah, Zephyr, he did, because in PNC, first base is the visiting team dugout. Well, all right. If you're gonna be petty, let's watch you give up some homers. You know what I'm saying? See how you lost. See how the Pirates beat you.
The balls don't stay
fastball.
Exactly. At all. I mean, every time the ball's put in play, it's out of there.
Classic four-seam down and in pull ball. As you can see, Sheehan has good fastball. Got good extension. They don't let you play for the Dodgers unless you've got a pretty good something. 96.7. So, wow. All right. 96.7 is very fast, obviously. 7-foot extension. Very good, obviously. 16.1 vert. Pretty good. Not exceptional. But anyway, the big issue on this pitch, because I can't help but talk about it, is the target's obviously away. And this happens a lot with four-seamers when they give up home runs. What does he do? He pulls the pitch, kind of flattening it out and dropping it right into the hitting zone. And it doesn't have kind of that same carry when he pulls that ball. And lefties know what to do with that. They just do their little down and in little scoopy thing. And see you later. So that's one homer, and then he's going to get clipped again by McCutcheon on a fastball as well. This one's 97.5.
Drive to left field. He turned on that.
Middle up.
McCutcheon clear the deck. Big cannonball toward the
105.8. How'd he get there? Fastball, slider, Slider. So wait, let's see this fastball.
Still holds up.
Because Kutch is definitely on the fastball if he hits that pitch.
Andrew McCutcheon.
All right, so right there he takes a measurement.
Walked his last 2 plate appearances.
There's the slider away.
He climbs the all-time walk.
I think he's still on the fastball, obviously. Yep. Thought he was swinging at a fastball there.
It's like where he was trying to hit the ball.
This time, still a slider. Still laying in the weeds, waiting for the fastball, and he's on time for it. You wait long enough and you execute, you can do some damage in this game. So that's a good job by by Andrew McCutcheon. And anyway, Dodgers get shut out. They lose. Who pitched for the Pirates? Oh yeah, Ashcraft. People are a big fan of this guy. Oh, we got a question about what happened. I guess the question is what happened to the hit ball the next couple of pitches. Was it fouled off, put into play? Wow. That's a fun investigation. All right, so guy gets the first career hit. Cam Devaney, and then Jared Triolo comes up. So he's pitching with his first hit ball here. Also, when I was a pitcher, or when I was pitching, if I give up a hit, let alone a first career hit, I didn't want to keep pitching with that ball. I felt like that ball was cursed. I just gave up a hit. Honestly, even if they hit the ball at all, even on a fly out, I would usually switch it up to get a new ball. So he flies out to Pages, who throws it. Did he throw that into the bullpen? If so, they might have rescued the ball. I think he does. I don't think this goes all the way to the crowd. Let's see his throw here. Oh no. Oh no, he threw it into the crowd. He swapped the ball after the first pitch. You're right. Let's see it.
Work your way up the totem pole.
Top of the order.
Oh, I didn't wait long enough to see him get handed the ball. Good call. And then Will Smith flips it over towards their side. So they get the ball, but I guess it's got a scuff on it now. That kind of sucks. But yeah, I never wanted to pitch with any ball that had contact. Now, a lot of guys, like if they got a ground ball or whatever, and had a little scuff on it or something, they would love that. But for me, I just always worried about the ball going where I wanted it to go. So I was like, give me a brand new ball every time. And even in the bullpen, like a lot of guys, this is another thing that I would do that I thought was a little bit of a sicko move. A lot of guys, like, they'd be throwing, and the ball would get bounced or whatever, but they liked the feel of the ball they had that they were warming up with, so they'd just keep throwing with that ball because they liked the feel of that ball. But I never did that because that's not realistic. Like in the real game, they throw balls out for everything. So you might as well practice that. Just always working with a new object, getting adjusted to a new object constantly. So that's something that I would do at the highest level is like, just always give me a new ball. I know you're going to give me a lot of new balls anyway. I need to adjust to that. So that's a little small nugget there. All right, let's go back to, I don't think we know much about the Emmet Sheehan thing, unfortunately. If you looked at the video there, he just had like a blank stare, so that was a little weird. Where's my scoreboard? All right, what do we got in the chat? Got enough people in here, we can maybe start looking at Helsley in a sec. Yeah, Ashcraft only went 3 innings. I noticed in box score. Couldn't figure out why he did have 4 walks, but not sure. You know, a lot of people are on pitch counts this time of year. One of the guys I want to watch today, Cade Horton, who's been freaking devastating. I was getting all excited because I saw no-hitter alert through 5 innings, and the way he's been pitching, you know, it's realistic. And then I see that he's out of the game. So I was like, oh. And then I find out today when I read a little blurb off of Substack that I read that he's only been going 75 pitches. So a lot of guys are on pitch counts, so I could see that maybe Ashcraft got to it pretty quickly. Yeah, catcher threw it in. I'm sorry, guys. Not meaning to put you on the spot, given the Kawhi allegations yesterday. What's the best perk you've ever heard a team giving a player? I've never heard of anything like under the table, honestly, ever. That stuff doesn't make it through. I don't know how you would even go about that. But I haven't read up on the Kawhi stuff yet. I wanted to watch the Pablo Torre Finds Out episode on the full investigation of this before I have any thoughts on it. But it's pretty wild to circumnavigate the CBA. Yes, Richard, the Rays. I want to watch Yandy Diaz hit and Junior Caminero. Should we do that now and wait for Helsley? Or are we ready for Helsley? Is there a need for under-the-table perks in a league with no salary cap? Yeah, I've never heard of any under-the-table perks, honestly. Really never. Also, so few owners would likely be willing to do this since there's no salary cap to get around. Okay, yes, so everybody's read that. All right, let's look at Helsley. Let's get it out of the way. Two things I noticed right away, and I'll just present them straight off the rip because I took screenshots. So he's been doing this for a little while now. This is his old set position, right? Hands up. And really, when I was trying to watch a lot of his video, and we can go back and watch and see if we see anybody relaying anything. But so far, I have come up empty on anybody relaying anything. So that means if he is tipping, it's really from the vantage point of the hitter looking at the pitcher. So the hitter has to be able to see it on their own. So that tells me that it's something to do with the glove, because in the adjustment he makes to attempt to fix this problem this is now where the glove is, right? Now the glove is rested on the chest and the arms are down. So I think he must have been doing something, in his mind at least, with the arm, with the bare arms in the back. Like you look here and the arms are super exposed, right? Like you can see this whole left arm. There's angles to look at. And a lot of times what will happen with a pitcher is, like say you're holding fastball grip, you'll be here, but you're holding a slider grip and you'll kind of hike up the elbow a little bit to get, the proper grip that you want. Or you'll do something with your changeup. And so it could be an arm angle thing, or it could be the glove angle. You set it up differently depending on the pitch type. These are very easy habits to fall into. I haven't watched a ton of the video yet of the bad outings while he's been allegedly tipping, so we can do that. But I also definitely want to watch yesterday's outing as well, because it didn't really necessarily go any better. And part of me is just not sure he's tipping. It could all just be a perception thing, a lack of fastball command thing, because I'm not seeing any obvious relaying going on. And then, yesterday, Kerry Carpenter got the big hit in this game on a fastball. And like in the interview, he's saying he's just trying to be on time. It did seem like the Tigers hitters were all over every fastball. Like they were looking for fastballs. So maybe they're doing something specific on fastballs and they feel like that's the pitch to fire at. But anyway, that's the adjustment he's made. His hands were up here. Now they're down here. I think from second base, you can look right in the glove. But I think that his two pitches are very similar. I think the fingers are together, whether it's on a slider grip or whether it's on a fastball grip. So I feel like from second base, you're not going to be able to tell any difference on that hand position. So that's really not a big deal. But anyway, let's watch his outing from yesterday first, I would say. And I did pull up his pitch mix from the game. 13 sliders, 12 fastball, 12 four-seamers, and he even tried for 2 curveballs. Now, it's important to note, he gets 6 swings on slider yesterday, and he gets 4 whiffs. So that's evidence of not necessarily being, like, tipping, but also just because you have a guy's pitch doesn't mean you're not going to miss it. I remember at one point in Colorado, we had some guys' pitches, and we still struck out a ton of times because guys were swinging at pitches in the dirt. So there's so many things that go into this. But the fastball got 0 whiffs on 7 swings. And he averaged, 99.8 on the fastball yesterday, up to 102.2. So, Mets Tigers. That's 27 pitches. And okay, so before we start, because I see there's a couple things here in the chat. Scott Ward, good question. Has the movement on his fastball changed? No. On this year, he's averaging, if anything, actually a slightly better shape on his fastball than last year. And, okay, let's just do it. Colt Keith. So let's watch him. And let's just see the reactions and the execution as if he's not tipping. So it's a first pitch fastball, and Colt Keith is swinging. 101.5. So it's cheese. And as I've noted before, Helsley has, by Stuff Plus metric, one of the top 3 or 4 guys, stuff-wise, as relief pitchers in the big leagues. So that's why they just don't believe that he's capable of getting consistently hit. without tipping. All right, so there's a fastball up for a ball. Here comes the slider. Doesn't even come close to swinging at that. So to me, that's a very easy take on a pretty good pitch to pretty good pitch. However, based on the fact that the first two pitches are up, likely his eye level was set up. So that's probably why he got that take. So 2-1. Comes another slider. Same thing there. Ball comes out a little too low. Cole Keith is expecting the ball to come out in the top rail. And that's why he swings at that too. Slider. So 3-1 slider. Kind of a weird pitch to be sitting on if you knew it was coming. But this ball pops up. So again, that's what I was saying. That's what he's kind of looking for. So now it's 3-2. It's a different scenario. 3-2, you got to swing anywhere close. Again, it's a fastball up. That's kind of where he's been looking for it. Doesn't hit this ball well. Kind of bloops it in there. And that's kind of the batted ball luck that Helsley's been getting for a little while. Curious about this one, actually. The Colt Keith hit had a 120 expected batting average. So that's just a bad luck hit. That was actually a pretty good pitch, despite the fact that I thought Colt Keith had a pretty good at-bat there, minus the 3-1 swing, which was trying to do a little too much. All right, so second at-bat. Ends up getting a hit, of course. Now he's got Glaber.
First pitch inside.
He'll make you throw him a strike.
Arm side.
When he knows
Pretty non-competitive miss there.
We'll see how it plays.
Pulls off a slider there.
Right on left with Carpenter.
Torres swings through a slider 2-1.
Swung at that like he thought it was a fastball. So to me, that tells me the Tigers have nothing on him today. I'm fairly certain that they have nothing on him in this game.
Carpenter had.
But we'll keep watching.
That's a strike.
Perfect pitch. Perfect pitch. Really good take there.
How do you take that pitch?
And this has been something that we've noticed a little bit the last couple weeks. You know, he's probably used to getting a swing on that.
3 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2. Keith at first. And Torres.
Fastball fouled away.
Oh yeah, he's gonna make.
Once again.
And then this one's 96.
Way upstairs.
So really weird. He's sitting 100 miles an hour with his fastball. And then 96 mile an hour rep here. So just kind of something weird there. He does check the mound. So now first and second, no outs, and here comes the homer, Kerry Carpenter. First pitch slider. Non-competitive down, so I think Carpenter just eliminated that in his mind, and now he's dead red on the fastball, and just like the Emmet Sheehan fastball, this is going to be a pulled fastball down in. And Kerry Carpenter's on time, and this guy's a great hitter, especially versus righties. Line drive home run. So in this inning so far, an unlucky first batter, although he did fall behind 3-1. So poor process on the first batter, but then also somewhat unlucky. And then poor process on the second batter, couldn't put away Glaber, ends up walking him. And then poor process on the third batter, throws a non-competitive pitch and doesn't locate a fastball. So after that, he actually pitches pretty well, which kind of reinforces my point that I think the tipping is gone in this inning, and it really has nothing to do with that. Tries a curveball there. I mean, expect more of that probably.
That was a perfect storm. But this
slider down. Here's a slider again, and this one is a bad location, but he gets a happy accident result. Up and away backup slider. Oh, I think he gives up a hit to Torkelson as well. Ball 1. So the process is also like always something to look back on. In this game in particular, he really hasn't controlled the count. Makes it a lot harder. But they're not on the pitches. Like they think they're swinging at a fastball there.
But then down the road, the receipts show up.
But then, guys are making one-pitch adjustments on him. This is actually a pretty good slider. Maybe it's not quite as good as the previous one, but it's still down below the zone. 91 miles an hour. This is the previous pitch.
The opposing manager, and this is not just Mendoza,
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, it's more located away, but the next pitch is actually lower, so I don't think it was bad execution there. And then he gets Wencel Perez.
And so Will Vest through the top of this inning.
Curveball dropped in for a strike. I think that would be excellent if he can do some of that.
Strike.
Fastball up.
0-2. That's in the dirt.
Slider not even close.
Very nice. 1-2.
And then there, that's the slider he's used to getting the chase on. So that's a really good pitch. So, okay, so clearly there's no tipping. That outing is just how everybody gives up runs. Sometimes you give up a crappy hit. You don't bear down. Some guy drives a 3-2 walk off of you. You fall behind to a good hitter, and you make a mistake in the zone, and it's 3 runs, right? So that's just bad pitching. I've done that 1,000 times. Let's look though at his game logs, because I want to find one of the games where he's allegedly tipping, and then we'll see if it feels different. All right, we need, yeah, okay, so he comes over to the Metros. Let's look at this game versus the Braves on 8/22. All right, here we go. So now you'll see the hands are up higher, so let's see if we can indicate if the swings feel suspicious at all. Ball 1.
It's off the bottom of the ninth against Helsley, who throws really hard. And there's a two-time All-Star with the Cardinals. As a
Middle taking all the way.
Looking at the highlights, he gets beat because the hitter's trying to charge for that fastball, and it's a bad slider.
Pretty big hack on a fastball, but he's late and under it.
Right now.
Ball 2 strikes on.
Comes a curveball.
There's a slider.
Let me watch the setup here.
Ball 2 strikes on Ozuna. There's a slider.
Saw maybe like a little bit of like a deeper breath here. Let me see on a fastball.
If I'm looking at the highlights, he gets beat because the hitter's trying to charge
Oh,
for
it's
that.
about the same. Okay.
Thought process that changes.
Another fastball here on 2-2.
Ninth inning guy in St. Louis to the 8th inning guy in New York, considering Edwin Diaz.
Well, I mean,
Good pitch, but he's on it.
rectify that and you struggle, but
Slider.
it doesn't matter. In the end, it's all about shaking hands. And so if they
Yeah,
can hit
that should draw a swing typically, but guys have been. I mean, even Glaber looked like he had a good. He does trigger, so I'm actually tempted to give more credit to Ozuna here.
it doesn't matter. In the end, it's all about shaking hands.
Not a
And so
totally suspicious take. Looks like a good take.
5 innings. As long as
And
they were 5 good
then
innings, they felt like they'd be okay.
fastball up, ball 4.
So
Nothing suspicious yet. Drake
So
Baldwin,
if you look at the
first pitch
situation,
fastball.
Rogers gives you a different look. Soto has been outstanding. If you get Helsley going, now all of a sudden you
Huge
have-
swing. Really trying to watch Helsley's setup with the arms.
Soto has been outstanding. If
Don't
you
see
get
anything
Helsley
there. Now
7,
curveball, let's see if
have
it looks
8,
different.
I'm
Show me the
sure
pitcher,
you'll be
damn
able
it.
to get 0. So this is a good situation to be able to get some work.
Maybe something with the wrist. At least something with the wrist angle.
a little
All
short
right,
games.
curveball here.
Fly ball
So
right
curveball,
center.
definitely out front of the curveball. Didn't feel like he knew that was
Swings
coming.
over to make the catch, 1 out.
Just see something though. All right, that's the wrist angle on the curveball. What about the fastball? Maybe it's a touch more. Okay. Does look to me like this wrist kinks that way a little bit. Does anybody see that? Does anybody see that at all? I don't know. I feel like that's very small and it would be very hard to see. Whereas like the four seam, the fastball, his wrist would be more straight and then slightly more cocked on the breaking ball. But I find it hard to believe that they're seeing that. Might be more clear from home plate, but I don't.
Games.
All right, we'll keep looking. I'd like to see the slider because those are curveballs. So here's another curveball.
Really cool to hear the energy.
It's a remarkable moment.
He triggers though, so he didn't know that was coming. Not tipping the curveball, I don't believe. Here's the fastball. Big swing on the fastball, but it is middle, so you would expect them to swing at that. But the wrist to me does look stiffer and straighter here. Not cocked. It does seem too minute, CP. I would agree. All right, but let's watch. Let's keep watching. Fastball, and then another fastball here. And he's all over it. But again, it's a pull down in four seam. These are the ones that get hit. I continue to make this point with four seam pitchers. That really good backspin that you're looking to take to your use to your advantage, and also as the ball gets further away from the hitter, the barrel tends to drop, right? Because it's heavier out there. When the ball's in tighter and lower, it's a pull job. All you have to do is drop the hands downward. A lot easier move, a lot quicker move for a hitter. So this is a pulled four seam in. You see the target's up. So I'm still, even though he's all over this ball, I'm still not tempted to believe anything yet. Just bad location, you know. Probably should have stayed with the slider or breaking ball based on the fact that he almost triggered on that first curveball. No one on second, so no signals. Not seeing any. I'm also not seeing any looks in the peripheral vision from the hitters. All right, Nacho Alvarez. So here's a slider. We've been waiting for a slider. Of course, they're not going to show us the behind view there. Good pitch. And then, all right, maybe on this pitch they'll show us. I'm going to have to go to center field. All right, so he goes slider, and gets an out. It's not the same angle. All right, let's go to Brujan. Slider, here we go. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Slider down. I mean, he triggers on that. Little triggers like that. Tipping takes are a lot more comfortable. Little backdoor slider. And then here's a 100.5 miles an hour fastball. That's just a good swing going the other way. Now the fastball is just getting punished. So at this point, you got to go to a heavy slider approach and see if that's the answer. The fastball, everybody is on the fastball. Slider taking all the way. Fastball down and away.
Obviously a big victory for the Mets, but
I mean, the wrist stuff, it's so... I don't even really see it on the slider at all. So. Curveball. I mean, curveball middle, after he just showed him the curveball. So it's not only the bad location, it's the fact that he kind of let him in there timing-wise. And then he's going to get it out here on a first pitch slider. Yeah, actually kind of a sick play. Did we watch that? Like a cat. Anyway, look, I don't think he's tipping. I don't 100% think he's tipping. The Mets have people that are looking for tipping on their own pitchers. I don't think he's tipping. I think he's uncomfortable and feeling like the swings are too good to. So at least might as well change something. If it could be the hands, even if it's minute, might as well change it. But you know, when we go look at some of his stuff, you know, you start to see the path to understanding why all of a sudden a guy who has been kind of unhittable is getting hit. For one thing, he's sticking too much with this fastball. You can see the huge discrepancy. I mean, the fastball's got a minus 14 run value this year. And the slider's positive 10. Slider's as good as ever. 140 batting average on it, 186 WOBA, 43.2% whiff rate. Expected batting average, 156. I would just throw the slider down the middle. You know, get them off your fastball. Then your fastball's going to look even faster. Because right now the fastball ain't it. You're not locating it, and they are definitely looking for it. Now, percentage-wise, he's been basically flip a coin 50-50. So this informs the point a little bit more. If you're going to be throwing 2 pitches, for the most part, guys can kind of sit on one or the other. They feel like the fastball is probably the pitch they have a better shot of hitting, and you have a better shot of making a mistake with, and we saw him make several mistakes. The pulled one down in to the lefties and a couple balls middle. Curveball, I think, is a really good idea. I hope that Hef and those guys stick with that thought, because the 2 speeds down, especially if he can strike the curveball first pitch, is going to really help him. I would like to see curveballs early, or if he's thrown if the batters survive like 4 or 5 pitches on all hard stuff, maybe late, but I'd like to see it early and then work from slow to fast. Command-wise, I checked the other day on here. There's really no difference in the fastball. He's always been just kind of throwing it down the middle. So to me, it's now a matter of people are on it. You need to go to the pitch that's working. That's the slider. Throw it down the middle. Let it work to the corner. Don't try to be too fine with the slider. At this point, if you get beat with the slider, you tip your cap. You cannot afford to continue to get beat with the fastball. That's my whole point. But you can see that the command is not really where it needs to be. But also, it's tough. It's tough mentally. It really is. He'll be all right. I think he just needs to get like 2 or 3 good outings in a row, figure out kind of what the new formula is, and there's still time. But no doubt, this is a shock to the system. I mean, you see the previous years, 2.45 ERA, 2.04 ERA last year. He was shoving this year when he came over, and it's just been weird. Like, you just don't get hit like this this often. So, very bizarre. Especially when you throw this hard and your stuff is rated so highly. Velo's not down. I actually think Velo's up. How can you consistently get the slider in the strike zone? That's just a targeting thing. Make sure you start it like probably middle up so that it gets in there. But I'm not seeing the tipping as much. I think that's something that, as a pitcher, you want that to be the case sometimes. I remember I gave up 7 runs in a game in Buffalo to the Blue Jays in 2020 with the Yankees and got no swing and misses in like 30 pitches. And I wanted to believe that I was tipping. Like, I really was like, please tell me you found something that I can fix and that it's something quick. But that wasn't the case. I was just horseshit that day. And so that happens. And also the other teams are good. And like, this game, like, you pitch long enough, you're going to run into some of those things that kind of line up in your favor in the wrong direction. So I don't know. I don't really know where else to turn with Helsley. There's nothing else really to look at. There's more games obviously to watch, and we just cherry picked those 2. But even within that second game, the Detroit game, he did strike some dudes out with sliders. They were not on the slider or the off-speed pitches. So to me, that would be an indication to me. I got to go softer, right? I got no choice. Can't mess around with that. All right, I think that's it for Helsley. I would like to... How about we quickly watch... Speaking of sliders, we quickly watch the Mason Miller immaculate inning from yesterday where he threw 9 sliders, which kind of cracks me up because, like, who throws a 9-slider immaculate inning? Who'd they play? Baltimore? Baltimore and San Diego. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. I literally have never gotten an immaculate inning. I always really, really wanted one. I got to the 0-1 count on the 3rd batter a few times, but that's it. So let's just watch him throw 9 sliders and somehow strike 3 guys out. Well, gets a little help on the first one. The old high slider will take it. That sets you up perfect to go middle and then lower after that. Oh, he goes down. This one disappears. Even just the threat of the 103-mile-an-hour fastball can really screw up a hitter because he doesn't even have to show it here, and you can still see it poking its head out, its effectiveness out, because he's trying to be on time for the super cheese, and he gets the slider down. And then let's see the third one. Ooh, arguably even better one. This one tracked to the outside corner for a while. We don't have a good camera angle on this, but that ball's headed right to the outside corner and then zip. So, those are filthy. They combine. This is the 2-plane break. This is the thing that everybody was taught when I was coming up, that you wanted not just to have break horizontal, but break also vertically. Actually, what we know now is it's actually a little bit harder for a hitter to track things actually moving in one plane consistently. So a lot of times, if you don't have like excessive movement on two planes, it's actually giving the hitter more information to track your ball, which is kind of wild. But his is nasty, so it's different. It's dropping, it's moving a ton, and it's 88. So basically, you think you're getting a fastball, and you're not. Mountcastle, let's see how he gets the 3 on him.
That belonged to Mountcastle. They sent 11 men to bat.
Dirty, disappearing.
And now Miller. Did he go? Yes, he
You
did.
can tell they're a little jumpy for that fastball. And Mountcastle, he's definitely always on the fastball. I could never get him off the damn fastball.
Strike 3.
That was disgusting again. Really nice pitch. This one's subtle. This one really looks like a fastball.
Strike 3.
And then Emmanuel Rivera.
Rivera has 2 hits in this game. Well, that slider is biting.
Disappearing act. If they stood there, they probably would have got themselves into some good counts. That's the third guy that's done a check swing on a ball. And then the last one. And that's just the high slider that, you know, when it pops out, they think it's the high fastball. Kind of hesitates, gets over the barrel. So 9 sliders. Very rare to see an immaculate inning all with one pitch type. But Mason Miller achieved that. Mason showing Helsley what he should do. You know what? Not a bad point. Just start spamming the slider. Everybody's on time for your fastball, so get them off time by throwing the slider and see where that takes you. If you can strike it enough, he'll probably get into some really good, juicy 0-2, 1-2 counts. And then, then you have options. And you're driving. Interesting the way the Padres are using the bullpen. Very, very interesting. Jason Adam getting hurt now and being done with the quad rupture is freaking devastating. But, for the Padres, at least they have this dude and Estrada and all these other guys. So they'll be all right. But, yeah, Suarez is ingrained there for sure. He'll definitely go to a team that allows him to close. Yeah, eventually. I mean, he's going to have to, because if you want to make any money in arbitration, you've got to close. Got to. If I had a lab, I'd load up all sorts of different pitches with different velo spins and locations and machines, subject all my batters to them, picked out the most successful ones based on aggregate. They're already kind of doing that a little bit. Yezars, I like your comment, but it's like based off the real game, right? So like they're already grading everything that's happening in the real games and then trying to recreate that. Sometimes it's tough to do in a controlled environment like the lab. Things play out a little differently. This may be the most pitches not in the strike zone ever for an Immaculate. I kind of agree. Yeah. Mike's still talking about the Kawhi stuff. I don't know anything about that yet, Mike. Probably a silly question, but looking ahead, how would you explain a pitcher like Ranger Suarez, K's being so up and down? 3-3, 10, 11, 2 over the last 5. Ranger Suarez pitches to contact for the most part. I think he doesn't really start any at-bats looking for strikeouts. I think he goes ahead and finds strike 3 once he gets into those counts, and he gets a lot of looking strikeouts. So a lot of times it comes down to how accurate he is, and also the opponent. Like, there's certain opponents that are definitely going to put the ball in play. Like today he's facing Milwaukee. If he's pitching today, Milwaukee puts the ball in play, so I wouldn't expect a ton of strikeouts. So some of it's probably opponent dependent. Let's look at the game logs to drive your point home here. Yeah, I mean, you can see it's definitely a little up and down over here in terms of the strikeout numbers. 10 and 11 versus Seattle and Washington. Now, Washington's got a lot of lefties. I think he struck out James Wood a few times looking, which makes sense. C.J. Abrams is a guy you can punch out. They have some dudes that can punch out on the Nats. Mariners, same kind of deal. Gino strikes out a lot. Randy, even Julio to some extent. Cincinnati, that's a team that's trying to put the ball in play. He only had 3 against them. Baltimore, Usually they try to put the ball in play. Detroit, a little odd for Atlanta, but that was a kind of a crazy game. 10 hits, 5 innings, 10 hits, only 1 run. So he tiptoed around that one with some contact. I think it's more just how the game plays out individually. Sometimes even the great pitchers, like when I played with Jake DeGrom, sometimes he would get like a 3 strikeout game randomly. You know, sometimes the guys just, they swing early, you know, and you have to embrace it if you're a guy like Suarez. Did you see Bieber's blow-up inning last night? Any thoughts on it? Really clean game apart from the second. Oh, I did. I am very silly, MP. Sorry about that. I hope that was okay with you. Okay, yeah, Bieber, I had him on the list. I was curious. There was some good quotes from the manager, Schneider, about that outing yesterday. I'm actually curious to look up his pitch usage. He did a good job. Player breakdown, Shane Bieber. Okay, 40 fastballs, 18 sliders, 16 curves, 12 changeups, 12 cutter. Changeup still averaging that -1 vert, so that's the kick change, that new version of the kick change velocity. Velocity's looking good, better than it was before. So I'm big on him. I want to watch. Yeah, we'll watch it. We'll watch the blow-up inning, and then we'll see him cruise. I think he gets 11 out in a row. I did want to pull the quote here because it's good. Bieber, just not giving in, whatever it may be, experience, competitiveness, grit, whatever, just not giving in. I think telling myself that regardless if I give up more runs, I've got to continue to eat up innings here and do my job as a starter and get deeper into the game. And for a little bit there, especially early, it wasn't looking that way. So fortunately, I was able to turn things around. And then the manager, John Schneider, said, I think that was good for him. First time really being tested. Probably the best 5-run outing I've seen in a while from a starting pitcher, to be honest with you. He got into a better rhythm, and we needed it. And at one point, he dominated. He got like 11 out in a row. So it's the Reds and the Blue Jays. Go take a look at that. And this is partly why you got to take the Blue Jays seriously. They have a good starter every single night. Now, this was a weird series because there's so many runs scored in this series. Pitching was not it in this series. The offense. It was all about the offense. But, all right, so it looks like we're going to skip the first inning because he goes 1, 2, 3. But I'm curious what happens in the second inning here. 2-2, middle, 4-seam. Line drive up the middle. Gavin Lux. Backdoor cutter. He threw some really nice backdoor cutters in the start I broke down. Can't get the double play there, but gets the lead out. Spencer Steer. Slider. Pretty good swing. Pretty good approach. Shooting that the other way. Gets to a first and third sitch on a slider up away. Then a 4-pitch Key Brian Hayes walk to set up bases loaded. And then this at-bat with Ottavino, bases loaded. Let's watch the 2 pitches. First pitch, super paint. He's going to go to the curveball off of that. Just hangs it. Just hangs it. Ottavino stays tight, smacks it up the middle. 2-run score. So that's the first 2 runs. And then McLean's going to get him here on a fastball. So 3 of the hits have gone directly up the middle. 2 are on the ground. So that's a little bit of unfortunate luck batted ball-wise. But at the same time, he's throwing a lot of pitches down the middle. Which, one of the things that makes Bieber Bieber is he lives on the edges, right? And then he gets a fly out. Backdoor cutter. Ooh, this ball's pretty well hit, but a nice play out there. And then he gives up a double to Noelvi Marte to cap off this inning with a 5-run inning. Pretty good. You got to give credit to 2 of the Reds hitters, Steer and Noelvi Marte, for going the other way with this ball. Nice piece of hitting there. No action entertainments. I'm going to look at the Yankees Astros next. I think Yordan. We're going to watch a little bit of that, and maybe the inning from hell for Devin Williams. Then he ends up striking out Ellie to finally put the second inning to bed, and then I think he rolls from there. So let's see. That's a good fastball up. All right, Austin Hayes is going to strike out starting off the 3rd. This camera angle stinks, by the way, but you're going to see his location is fantastic. Perfect pitch down and away there. Gavin Lux ground out on a fastball, 3-2. Up away, good pitch. Spencer Steer. First pitch, knuckle curve. And this is important for starters. Sometimes, you know what, you're going to get blown up, but your job is to keep going, to reset, to not be defined by your previous inning. That's what he does here. Gives his team a chance to win. They do. They come back. They win the game. Very important win in the pennant race. Good slider there for Chase. He's one of the best at throwing chase sliders. Chase everything, really. Really good at throwing balls on purpose. Knuckle curve here. Lands a 3-2 curveball pretty well there. Gets him to put it in play. Rolls it over. Then McLean. Finish out McLean with a changeup. Ooh, right on right changeup. Really nice on under pitch. -2 vert on that, so that's gross. This is a new pitch for him. And then Friedel's going to get called out on strikes. So he was able to rectify it. Obviously, you never want your guy to go out there and give up 5 spot in any inning. This is a terrible call, but he'll take it. But he's right there, man. His execution, I would say, is there right now 80-85% of the time. He's got a great mix. His stuff's gotten better. You take this as a positive. Cutter here. Let's see where this is. Gets it on the hands. Perfect location. That's where he's trying to go. Jams him. Probably breaks the bat. 78-1 there. And then he finishes out the 6th inning pretty clean, too. So only 1 base runner, it looks like, after the 2nd inning. Gets him reaching for that. He does hit that pretty damn good, but Varsho catches everything. Man, not rewarded for 104.4. That's tough. Good swing by Hayes. Walks Lux, and then he's going to get this double play from Spencer Steer. And he ends up getting himself a win, a hard-fought win. You know, gives up 5 in the 2nd inning, does a good job. So, yeah, location is going to be everything for him. Execution, he has the know-how. He has the mix. He has all that stuff. I think he's in a good spot. I'm really happy for the Blue Jays here. If this was a quality move, a ballsy move, as my friend Rob Bradford, who does the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast, big Red Sox coverage guy as well, would talk about. It's a little bit like the 2021 Red Sox team that I was on. We traded for Kyle Schwarber. He had a hamstring injury, didn't play for a few weeks. You're kind of taking the leap of faith that he's going to like get healthy and be a factor, and he did, and he was a factor, and that's what they did with Bieber. You know, he still had to continue to rehab, but now he's back and he's a factor. Hold on, my wife's in the chat. Where is that gas station? I think you're on the east side, so somewhere near 23rd in the FDR or 96th and 1st. Or 96th on the west side if you want to go west side, but 14 miles, you should be okay. All right, what are the odds you think this was him adjusting to the mound? I think that could be it. I talked a little bit about this the other day. I mean, granted, he did go 1-2-3 in the 1st inning. But this mound here in Great American Ballpark, I don't know if you can see it here, but to me, this slope, it's a good question. Thank you for this question in the chat. This slope is incredibly bland. There's not a lot of slope there, guys. Do you guys see a lot of slope? Now, I know my arrow kind of sucks there, so maybe I should do that again. But that's not heavy slopage. It feels less so, and so sometimes there's a little bit of adjustment. And, you know, conversely, the mound in their freaking bullpen is like Mount Everest, so it is a major adjustment. I'd like to see somebody do a little bit of an investigation, grounds crew investigation. This is like the hitters used to complain about the mound being too tall and steep in the Trop. Sometimes guys would try to investigate. Location way off for the first 2 innings compared to the last couple starts. It is, but, you know, look, like, I had some people in my comments asking me questions about Nolan McLean, like, you know, has he answered every test? Has he passed every test? Has he checked every box? And it's like, yeah, he's checked a lot of boxes. He looks amazing. But the real test of a player is their level of consistency and how they bounce back from things. And this is the level that people aspire to get to, where you give up 5 runs in an inning, you still end up going 6 innings and getting the win for your team. So like even when you're, you know, theoretically at your worst, you're still doing your job really well. So because it's going to happen to everybody, including Nolan McLean, at some point. He's going to get nicked for a crappy inning, and we're going to have to see how he responds, but I have no doubt he will. I'm just saying, that's something. So there's the slope of this mound. Actually makes me want to go look at another mound from the side. Let's take a picture. Where was Bieber's last start? Toronto? I think it was versus... Well, I know his first start was Marlins, so let's look for that one just so I can take a measurement. I mean, doesn't this look steeper to you guys? Am I crazy? All right. I jacked up that line again. All right, so we got that. Did Zack Gallen and Mel Kelly say the same thing? All right, let's do the photo comparison. I need like a protractor. I need to like do some measurements here. How do I do that? Can I do the measure app on my phone? I'm not as tech savvy as I should be, folks. All right, so from here. What angle is that? Oh, we did the level. All right, I got this slope right here at negative 45 degrees. Ooh, that actually sounds like it might be the right slope. Damn it. All right, and then this one I got at negative 47. I don't know. And it's so ridiculous. All right, let's get in the chat again. Let's see here. Westside got it. Thanks. All right, good. Shane is throwing a one-seam version. It's the kick change. All right, so we have a little question about the kick change. Change-up grip, right? This is a very typical two-seam change-up grip. You put your middle finger right here on this seam, put the other finger here on the train tracks, or I would put it off the train tracks, right? And then you have your circle, right? Your circle on the side. This finger just rests, and you just throw it. Kick change is the same grip, except middle finger gets spiked, right? So I tried, at first I didn't like the grip. When people first showed it to me, I was like, ooh, this is uncomfortable to me. I don't like it. But then this year when I was down in Purgatory at Cressy's place in Jupiter, figuring out if I was still playing or not this season, I started working on the kick change with some of their coaches down there. And what you try to do as a pitcher, the cue that you think about here is you just, you try to feel that the middle finger is the last point of contact. So that little bit of extending through the ball kicks the axis a little more. So typically when I would throw my normal changeup, which I used to get to about 0 or 1 vert, you would cut the ball a little bit this way and you would get this spin, and then that pitch would kind of go this way. The kick change, when you release it, will kick the axis a little further, so it's actually going to be almost spinning as if you threw an airbender, just doing it from a different kind of way, almost screwballish. So that's what the kick change does. It does result in way more drop, and it's really crucial for like four-seam guys to create a pitch with actual drop to it that they can pair with that and have big separation. So that's why it's so important. And that's a little bit about the kick change, and you're seeing them all over the league, and I've been consistently astonished at how often I've seen a -6 or a -7 or a -8 induced vertical break changeup in the big leagues on the iPad this year. That's happened a lot. Are the Mets going to limit McClain? Definitely not. He's their guy. They got to roll now. You like my top-notch analysis right there? Try to measure something with my phone. And then my dad's in here telling me that trig was a long time ago. Yeah, I remember nothing about that. But also it was very different camera angle. But I'm telling you, I pitched on these mounds. Cincinnati, you ask any pitcher in the big leagues that's pitched there recently, and they will tell you that mound is flat. All right. This might be too basic of a question, but could you explain, like I'm a 5-year-old, what are the movement differences between a slider, cutter, sinker, curve? All right, we'll do that real quick, and then we'll go look at the Yankees. I aim to please. All right, here's a movement chart. Right? We've done this a few times. This is important, though. All right. Everything above the flat line that's going from left to right has positive movement. Like you're creating positive movement that's resisting gravity. Everything below the line, you're creating negative movement. You're creating negative movement that is aiding the process of gravity dropping the ball down. So the pitches above the line are the pitches you would expect to be the ones that resist gravity the best. The red dots at the top are the 4-seam fastballs. Those have true backspin. The 2 little orange dots to the right, those are sinkers. They still are going up, believe it or not, just not at the same rate as a 4-seam because they don't have the same seam characteristics of how they're spinning, and they also generally don't spin with perfect backspin. The changeups are the greens. Those pitches tend to spin more side spin. That creates some element of resisting gravity, but not enough to really pull the ball up a lot, so the ball tends to peter out sooner. If the ball's going the other direction with that same spin, that creates a slider movement, which creates it going left. If there's a combination of those two movements or gyro spin, like this, that's where you get balls that are right in the middle of this bullseye. So anything that's kind of like a tighter slider, anything close to the middle of the bullseye, has a lot of this type of spin on it, which means basically only gravity and a little bit of the spin is affecting the movement of the pitch. So that's the slider is those yellow dots, and the cutters are their brown dots. The only difference between the cutter and the slider there really is that the cutter has a little bit more lift on the way to the plate and a little bit less drop, right? Lift opposite of drop. So when you're looking at pitches like sliders, cutters, and curveballs, because the curveballs are the blue dots at the very bottom with a heavy amount of drop, as you can see, they're way under the horizontal line. The difference with those pitches is the amount of lift they have on the way to the plate, which also usually correlates with the amount of speed they have. Cutters tend to be the fastest and have the most lift. Those are the brown. Sliders tend to be the next fastest and have the next most lift, or the next most drop, whichever way you want to look at it. That is the yellow dots, and then the curveballs have the most drop and the least lift, however you want to look about it, and they're also generally the slowest, and those are the blue dots. So that's a quick little detour on that. All right, let's go to the Yankees and the Astros. This was something. So first, I just want to watch Yordan for a minute before we even get into any of the stuff that happened in the game. So Yordan Alvarez, this guy is my own personal nightmare at the plate. I don't think it went very well. I don't think I had anything for this guy. I think I might have struck him out one time in spring training. No, not Fangraphs. We need reference. Hold on. But as you can imagine, this guy's a nightmare. Doesn't chase, loves the ball down like sinkers, not afraid of velocity, hits spin pretty well. Just a nightmare in the box. Can go out to all parts of the field. So, not good. Let's see how this went. I don't think it's a lot of at-bats. I did face him a ton in spring training. Well, it only has one at-bat. It has him getting a hit, and I'm pretty sure that's so weird. One at-bat in 2021? I definitely faced this guy a lot in spring training then, and maybe a little bit in the playoffs. Bet that was bad. Anyway, Yordan Alvarez, type of guy that when you study him, he just doesn't really have any holes. He can go out to any part of the park. He's a good hitter on top of having the power. So he's like a lefty Judge in a lot of ways. So if they let him get 50 innings, they lose the chance to get a pick if he wins an award next year. I wonder what they do there. I mean, they got to try to win the games now. We're talking about McLean with the Mets. They have to try to win now. Like, that's the whole point. So we'll see. All right, let's get into this. Yordan Alvarez. I'm just going to watch all the pitches, how the Yankees try to get him out, because he got 4 hits last night. And let's just see. Let's watch the guy hit, man. All right, Will Warren's the first contestant. 4-seam away.
After a night off with Max Fried on the
Warren's been a lot better, I'd say, in the second half in terms of using his fastball to good effect. He uses both 4s and 2s. This is a really nice 4 right here, painted on the corner. So both pitches have been away. Here comes the sweeper. He has a very good one. Away. Sweeper again. Probably going to look for another back door here.
The last 3 of August catches the.
I want to note a good job by Wells here. So here's the target on the previous sweeper that he throws for a ball. Oh, you know what? He already had about the same target. It's a middle target. He just misses. I was going to give him credit for being a little more middle on this target, which I thought this type of target would pull him more in the zone, and he does throw it. But it turns out it was the same target as before. So never mind that. 2-2, sticking with the fastball. This time in. Misses up away. Good take. So everything's been away so far. Seems to have a good view of the outside corner. This is an interesting choice coming up. Let's see what they go with. They stick with the 4. Inside target.
Hit hard into right field.
I mean, that's crazy. He gets 5 pitches in a row away, and then he gets a 4-seam in. And yes, this is the pulled 4-seam, but it still holds its metric really well. 18.3 on the verts. This ball had good ride to it. But yet, and it's actually a good location. It's that medium height where it's hard to extend your arms, but Yordan's on time for this. So this is the first evidence that the guy's a little more locked in than normal here. He gets to a ball that most guys wouldn't get to. I mean, he's still jammed a little bit, but he hits it 111.2. So imagine if he got the full barrel on that and got in the air. So that's the first hit. So it was all fastballs and sweepers. Second at bat.
Yordan tonight promptly hit one at 111.
4-seam away, strike, good pitch. Gonna go right to the changeup now.
Yeah, when he's right.
Non-competitive changeup, so continuing to work him away for the most part. Ooh, gets a good chase here. Yordan thought this was the same fastball he hit before. That's why he swings at that. That ball's trending like a fastball in, kind of dives down the middle. Taps it foul, so it's 1-2.
The thing that's hard to figure is the
curveball down.
Haven't really changed.
He gets this to a good location. It's actually a really good take by Yordan.
Like TK was talking about,
I was going to go fastball down. I like it. Misses off, gets the swing. So he's got Yordan a little bit on tilt here. Swings at 2 bad pitches in this at bat, but he's able to slap that and foul it off. He has such good plate coverage too. Now they're going to try the front door 2-seam. I like this pitch. Would have worked. Got the trigger, but didn't make it back to the corner. So 3-2. They're going to go 4-seam in again. Actually, a very similar pitch to the last hit. This one is a little more in the zone, and again, he smokes this ball. This one 114.4. He is so on time for your fastball, bro. I think I would, at this point, probably switch to trying to get him to hit, I don't know, a curveball away or a changeup away, but all over the fastball full side. Now he's going to face Fernando Cruz, Mr. Splitter. He's probably just going to go all splits. Split down, beautiful one, gets the chase, so definitely going to double up.
Yordan sends one to left. Giancarlo Stanton will have it go over his head, and it'll rattle
105.4 at 16, so crushes this line drive. I'm not sure if a normal outfielder makes this play or not. Does anybody think that Stanton should have made this play? But this ball was crushed. Really good swing. Again, Yordan uses the whole field. This is part of what makes him so difficult. They've been pitching him away they've been pitching him away this entire game so far, minus the 2 pitches that he actually got to hit. Everything else, they've shown a willingness to want to get him out away. Curious about the expected batting average on this ball. That's got it as a 610 expected batting average. Hard hit, obviously. Look at that. So every single ball he's going to hit is going to be hard hit. This is a heck of a performance. So we'll give Stanton a pass on that. Obviously, here is the at-bat versus Weaver. So again, are they going to stay away? Change-up down. Pretty easy take. Looked like he was taking the whole way. Fastball down off. That's a good pitch. They've gotten him to take a number of fastballs right on the outer edge. Change-up off that. I like this approach here. Even better hitting. Good pitch, better hitting. So he's pulled the crap out of 2 balls that were left the middle in and somehow was on time for 2 fastballs. But then he's also able to sit back on a really pretty good executed changeup in the same window as he just threw a fastball and stay on it and use his gigantic power and everything like that to hit a line drive to left. 103.5 at 11. So that's the 3rd hard hit ball. And the 4th hit, at this point he was 4 for 4. He kind of took over the game. And even this last at-bat versus Doval, let's see how this goes. 99-mile-an-hour sling cutter. Doval's cutter is kind of like just a crazy pitch. Slider. Slider down.
Jeremy at second base.
That one bounces away. It's going to be an 8-4 lead.
Slider down. We don't block it. We go for the pick. This is where the old-timers would be upset.
It's going to be an 8-4. All these runs charged to Devin Williams. And now a fastball
98
off the plate,
cutter. I say cutter because this has 7 vert that way. That's a fastball, just with no vert on it, so they call it a cutter. Doval's such a weird pitcher. I mean, this is, you can't sling a ball more than this. 3-1. Another one.
For his 5th hit, and instead he gets dotted up.
Yordan knew that wasn't a good pitch to hit. Kind of looked like ball 4.
In the last 3 innings.
Man, swings at a really bad pitch. So he should have had a walk. 2 walks probably in this at-bat. Ends up hitting, rolling over a pretty good location. This is where they're probably trying to go with him the whole game. Just get that ball away a little more down. Because there's not very many places to go. They tried in, they tried away, they tried up away. None of that worked. This is a huge factor in the playoff race. This is something that hasn't been talked about enough, is that Yordan's back. Their lineup's looking a lot better now. Peña's having a good year. Altuve's Altuve. Correa's back somewhere comfortable. Sanchez is a pretty good hitter. Diaz has got pop. Christian Walker, it couldn't be any worse than he was early in the year. He's obviously a guy with pedigree. And now Yordan. So Astros looking good again. Looking to win the division for, what is it, like 8 years in a row? All right, let's get back in the chat. Made it with 9 miles to go. Good, good. Christian Javier will be pitching tonight against Rodon and the Yankees. He has a tough pitcher with an impressive fastball slider combo. How would you approach him? You know what's weird, though, is he's not throwing hard anymore. Christian Javier. Rodon's been looking good, so he's just going to do his thing, and hopefully he can navigate this lineup. Christian Javier's numbers are good. They're actually very good. And as you can see here with this, see the red dots on this fastball? You can see when I click it here. It is 3 inches less tail, so more cut, and 3 inches more rise. This is one of the best fastballs in the game. He was the starting pitcher in the game that they no-hit the Yankees in the ALCS a few years ago. The fastball is insane. That's what his whole game's built on, is this electric 4-seam fastball. However, the velo's been weird. I watched him pitch the other day. And it was way down his last game. Now he still has him averaging 93 this season. So that's interesting. That's fine. That's right in line with his basically right in line with his career averages. So that's good. All right, so maybe I'm wrong. I think I might be wrong. I thought I saw him throwing like 88, 89 the other day with those cutters. All right, movement, induced movement, 18.9. On the vert this year on the fastball. Last year it was an even 20. 20 is that super elite number that we're looking for. But that's still an unbelievable 4-seam. 19 inches of vert, only 4.3 inches of arm. He locates it really well up in the zone. Yeah, that's his pitch. The sweepers, his strike, his swing and miss pitch. Changeup as well. What's his weaknesses so far? It's only 4 starts this year. Weaknesses, he walks too many guys, so yeah, I think you lay in the weeds with this guy a little bit. You try to get yourself in some good counts. Yeah, I didn't share the screen. Sorry, guys. I did that once again. I was just taking a look at his numbers here. The 4-seam, it's an elite 4-seam, and the velocity is there. Which I look down here. Sorry, guys. I do this at least once a day. 93 mile an hour on the 4-seam, so that's fine. For some reason, I thought I saw him throwing 88, whatever. The velocity has been fine. As you can see, this is where he likes it. Top of the zone all day. Guys pop it up, pop it up, pop it up, pop it up. He tries to use these other pitches, when he needs to swing and a miss and to be a little less predictable. But it all starts and ends with that fastball. His weakness that I see right now is just this walk percentage, 13.4% walks. So go ahead, wait him out. Make him throw strikes. I'd say that's the approach if you're the Yankees. Don't try to fall into his trap, Don't swing above the zone. These are all easier things said than done. But I would say that's kind of the approach. What do we got here in the chat? G looked unathletic there. Only an elite defender makes that play. I kind of agree. I think that's also, they have a weird jagged wall out there. The Crawford box comes in. If you look at the replay on this, you can kind of see where the wall comes in here. So it's just weird. You're in space. You don't really know. Like, this is all tucked in. This whole area over here, it's all kind of like tucked in. There's like more space back there, but it's hard when you're running back. You don't know where the fence is. Like, is the fence here or is the fence way back here? So he gets a little skittish, but I don't think anybody was making this play. This ball's pissed on. 105.4 to the opposite field, and it's got tail on it. All right, sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, I don't think anybody catches that. So that's the Yordan inning. What else we got here in the chat? Do you see an active take on off speed as an opportunity to double up opposite with anything firm? Yeah, I mean, it depends. The answer is usually always it depends. There's more than one variable I'm looking at in terms of like the take. Also, where was the pitch? What are the previous pitches? What's this guy's tendencies? What's his history? There's so much that goes into it. But sometimes a guy will have an aggressive trigger on a take and you're like, I don't believe you can do that again. And so you just try to repeat the pitch, and oftentimes they can't do it twice. Or sometimes the take really gives you more of the feeling like, I am not swinging at that anymore. And now you can kind of build your counter off of that take. But there's a lot of trying to like read the other guy, and I think that's what makes it fun. It's not so scientific sometimes in the moment. It's very gut, and there's a little bit of art there and a little bit of experience that can help inform some of your decisions. Do I think ABS will have as big of an impact on games as the pitch clock? I think it'll also be a good fan thing because they're not going to do the full ABS, which I think would be a disaster, calling every pitch. But they're definitely going to do the challenge system, and challenge system is a fan thing. It's like if you ever watch a tennis match and there's a close play, and then do the very quick thing, and everybody's like, "Ooh, who's right, who's wrong?" I think there's an opportunity to be embarrassed. You challenge a pitch and you're wrong. You look kind of dumb. I look forward to that type of stuff. The shock on people's faces when they realize they don't know the strike zone, that type of stuff. But I think that's positive. Those are all positives. Be fair. Show his swing in second. What do you mean, Big G? Big G's the man. I'm not crapping on Big G. Big G's the dude, man. Look at this. Look at this homer. This is on a changeup, right on right changeup. He wouldn't be playing outfield if Judge could play right now. That's all. He hasn't had any experience. This ball also goes to the damn train tracks, which is so cool. There's a couple places you can hit a ball in the big leagues that just have such a cool look to it. This is one of them. Train tracks. Obviously, the famous shot, the pool holes off Brad Lidge. I mean, it just gets it in the air. It's see you later. Another good one is right down the line in San Diego at that building, All right, so we'll give him his flowers. Stanton did his thing, hit a dinger. Yeah, G is built different, 100%. All right, what else do I have? I have more shit. I have more stuff to look at, guys. There's so much here. There was so much that happened last night. We could still look at this Devin Williams inning from hell. No, I want to watch Yandy Diaz and Junior Caminero, okay? Giants have won 10 and 11, so at some point we're going to have to maybe pay attention to them. I'm sick of watching Devin Williams for a little bit. Like, he actually threw a lot of good pitches last night. It makes me want to watch it and show that, but it's just, man, it's just a tough go. Been a tough year. It's going to really test him mentally. I still think he gets paid, though. All right. Yandy, Diaz, Junior, Caminero. So this was Rays, Mariners. I just want to point out that the Rays are playing pretty good ball right now. And Yandy Diaz is the type of hitter that I think a lot of kids could learn from. You know? He was one of the toughest righties for me to face in my career. We'll go back to that. If we want to go find out another verse batter. Definitely faced Yandi quite a bit. So, very curious here. Yandy Diaz, Mr. Ottavino. 2 for 7 with the double, so 286, 714 OPS. I struck him out only one time. If I remember correctly, and I do remember correctly, the big thing with Yandi is that he's so right field driven. So for a player like me, it's really hard because I rely on guys trying to pull off my sweeper or trying to pull off my sinker a lot of the time. And he wouldn't do that. He would just shoot me to right field the whole time. So I had to pitch him a little bit differently. I had to try to throw my sweeper a little bit slower, get him out, roll over out front, because he really only wants to pull off-speed pitches in the air, and he wants to hit all fastballs to right. And when he's really struggling, he'll even try to hit the off-speed pitches to right. But it's a good approach. It's hard to pitch to. Of course, he's a big, strong guy, so there's that. But I think a lot of kids could learn from this hitting style because it's really effective, man.
Third base.
All right, so let's watch his at-bats last night because he goes, I think he goes 5 for 5. 4 for 4, 5 for 5. George Kirby, first pitch slider. Really good take there. So he sees the shape of the slider and he's able to lay off that second one.
Last night.
97-1 sinker, takes that off the corner.
But with absolute excellent command.
Sinker in here. Good take on that as well. Gets himself to a 3-1 count. George Kirby does not walk people, so you know he's throwing a strike. And there it is. There's that slice ball to right. Stays inside absolutely everything. There's so much space out there. Hits this ball 103.7 to the opposite field. And it's a double. And this is a Yandy Diaz hit. This is where he wants to hit it. He wants to slash it to right field. Stays inside. And I feel like he's able to stay out of slumps a little longer because of this approach. Hold on. Just kind of stays closed. Doesn't try to over-rotate. So that's the first hit. Second at bat, so he gets a hit on a sinker, driving a sinker the other way. Slider down, strike. Pretty good pitch to hit there, but as you can see, he's very downward with the swing. So he's going to hit more ground balls than your average guy. But I think that's okay. I think he would be a bad hitter if he tried to hit pull side fly balls. And then on the third one, slider again. Now this time George makes a bad pitch on it. Hangs it middle down in here. But another slash type swing lines it up the middle 98.3. So second hit of the day. Now he's got Bizzardo. So he's gotten now a hits up the middle and hit the other way. One on a sinker, one on a slider. Here's a sinker and another sinker, so he's going to get his second hit on a sinker. This one is in, stays inside it again. So useful. Also where he hits in the order. When you have men on first. I mean, when you have an approach like him, and you know that you have a fast runner on first, and you're going to start the runner, you make it, my bad. You make yourself a perfect candidate for the hit and run. Second baseman's going to go cover the base. Fielder's going to run. And this hole's going to be wide open, and that's what he does as good as anyone. Just hit the ball to the right side. So even though he just dribbles this ball, he gets rewarded with a single, moves his runner over to third. So 3 for 3 there, staying inside everything. Next batter versus Hancock, Emerson Hancock, next at bat. Another guy trying to beat him with sinkers.
Second inning. They've had men on base
and sweepers. As you can see, he's a tough matchup for those guys, and obviously hits lefties good. So it's like a lot of times this is the type of pitcher who's going to get pulled in the game to face him. But when he's executing, he's tough. Here's another one where he just stays through the other side, gets rewarded with a bad play. but puts it into play, and it really drives home what he's trying to do at the plate here. I mean, this isn't a hard swing. He literally just guides this ball, makes sure he stays inside it, trying to get some runners over. He had first and second, no outs. And he gets rewarded. The baseball gods like that approach. And then he finally draws a lefty here in the 5th at-bat.
Third, singled in the 5th. And up for the 5th time.
Change up down. That time, it's the first time he pulled off a little bit, so pulled off that ball just a hair. But also, it's also a misnomer that you have to be closed off to go the other way. He actually stays a little bit open with the lower half, allowing himself to be open and just kind of lag the upper body behind and catch the ball deep. This is a DJ LeMahieu approach, and obviously a Yandy Diaz approach. And here on a changeup, even with that approach, because he's so committed to staying back on a fast pitch, the slow pitch comes, and that gives him extra time as he's lagged back to still stay back in a way on a changeup. Lines up better with timing that lets the bat travel out front and gets this hit. And you'll be able to see this a little bit, I think, on the tape here, just how he's able to still hit this ball out front. Yeah. So again, typically he's ready to be kind of lagged back and drive the fastball to right. But on the changeup here, because he's so committed to going that way, he gives himself enough time for the bat to still travel and catch a changeup out front. He's not so far out front that he misses it. He's out front that he hits it, and he's able to pull it. 99.6 right through the 6 hole. It's a pretty simple swing. He has the hands like kind of forward, but then watch how he gets him into a pulled back position here as he goes to make his load. Right there. Boop. Boop. All he does is turn the shoulder, get the hands back as he drifts towards the plate, and again, he's on time to try to hit a fastball at the first baseman's face. That's the idea. So anyway, a lot of people get credit for hitting all the homers, being pull side hitters. Those are sexy. But Yandy Diaz, one that kids can learn from, another really effective approach at the plate, and I just know as a pitcher, really tough guy to face. Also in this game, Junior Caminero got 2 hits. Let's see them. The first one is a sinker. I get to hit on a sinker off Kirby. Gets jammed, still hits at about 100 miles an hour. And I've been wondering, this guy has so much thunder in his bat. But being around a guy like Yandy Diaz, how much does that start to permeate his own approach? As you see here, stays tight here and goes to dead center. This is a guy who has special pop. 112 miles an hour to center at 18. Junior Caminero has a little bit more going on in his swing than Yandy Diaz, but he also punches a lot more, puts a lot more thump into the ball. So my thinking is he can learn a lot from that Yandi approach, staying through the ball, being on time to drive a fastball the other way because he has more than enough pop to make that approach work, and then hit the off-speed pitches for pull side Johnsons. He does have a little bit more going on. I feel like the leg kick's a little bit bigger, and then the hands, they kind of take a circuitous route into launch. Does like there's a triple move there, but again, it works for him. The timing works for him. I do think this mechanism, if he was trying to pull everything, I think it would really not work. He would be really out front on off-speed pitches with this aggressive of a move. But if he's learned something from Yandy Diaz, and I hope he has, and maybe it looks like he might have, in some of these swings we saw in this game, then he's going to be a developing hitter into a much higher level than what we already see. And he's got 40 homers and ridiculous amounts of exciting exit velo. All right. I have all of Junior Caminero's 112 plus mile an hour balls hit this year actually lined up. And I didn't want to do a whole video on it, but it is fascinating to watch. So we'll watch them real quick. We can run through them. First, I'll get in the chat for a sec. So there's stuff from Roki. Roki's just like one of those raw projects, Roki Sasaki. Clearly a great fastball and splitter that he showcased when I saw him in the WBC pitching against Mexico. Those two pitches metrically are amazing, but it shows you that the game's about a lot more than metrics. Roki doesn't have feel for much other than those two pitches. They tried to show him a slider. It's okay. The location wasn't really there. The running game was going to be a problem. The game sped up on him. I think it's just tricky. He's so young. He's so talented. Be curious to see how they continue to develop him. But, you know, when split is by far your best pitch and you don't throw it for a strike that often, it's hard to get into the right counts to really utilize that weapon. You know, we see it with Senga when he's going poorly. He doesn't get himself into the counts for the ghost fork to be a factor. That was happening a little bit with Roki. And a lot of big misses, non-competitive misses, is what I saw early. Obviously, I haven't seen him in the minor leagues at all, and I'm still rooting for him and very enamored with his talent and kind of the way he goes about unwinding his delivery. It's pretty cool. Do I think Matt Brash will be translated back to a starter? No, probably not. He's too valuable in the role he's in. He's had too many injury problems. They're going to worry about slapping that workload on him. Now, I could be wrong. So maybe some team gets creative, like I think maybe the Rays will with Griffin Jacks now. But Matt Brash is so valuable out of the bullpen. He's got outlier stuff for sure. Apologize if you've already said in the past stream, what's your coffee setup at home? I have a Rocket Cinquanto espresso machine and a digital grinder with that. It's pretty good. Looking to upgrade all the time, though, of course. Most exciting rookie player in MLB this season. Nick Kurtz, probably. Nick Kurtz looks like the real deal to me at the plate. So there's so many exciting guys, though. A lot of the arms are impressive. Chase Burns, Mizorowski, McLean. I love the arms, you know. But Roman Anthony, probably the best long-term guy that's come up. But Nick Kurtz, to me, has been just incredible right away. And so that's very exciting to me. All right, I have the list here of the Junior Caminero. 112 plus exit velos this year. Shouldn't take too long. We'll do it really quick. Rays and Jays. And my date here is 5/15. Yeah, this one. All right, so here's the first one. He hits this ball off of Gosman. 116.5 miles an hour. Gets nothing to show for it, but 116.5. That's one thing about this guy. He's packing a punch that like 3 or 4 guys, you know, pack at the plate. So for him to be 22, we're in a great spot. This ball's rifled. Really clean swing. All right, second date. Come on, Face ID. Versus Yankees 820. Yeah, I think it's this one off Bednar.
Homered again in the 8th.
Yeah, 115 here.
There's a base hit.
I mean, it's just through the infield in a second.
Ball goes up to second.
And the second one is on 418 versus the Yankees.
To deep right center field, that's a great sign.
There's a liner into left. That's going to drop. Getting in front.
Other one just crushed. Nice shot there. First St. Louis on 824 times 2. Yeah, this one. This is a line out, so he gets nothing to show for this, but 113 off the bat. Almost burns Nootbaar in center. And then he gets another one off the same pitcher, too, off Liberatore here, I believe. Yeah, this is 114. I mean, it's like a gunshot, but he gets nothing to show for it. So it's kind of crazy how hard he's hitting these balls and really not getting much to show for it. When I researched this last night, I was just like, kind of like, damn. Like, expected batting average on anything at this speed is like really, really good. Boston on 610. think it's this one. And this one was kind of weird. It's like a chopper. Yeah, 113. Just an easy ground out. Now, this one's always bothered me as a pitcher. So a lot of times these grounders that bounce right in front of the plate, they'll get read really high in exit velo, and that kind of dings your exit velo numbers. So I don't love that. Versus Philly on 5-7.
He has some of the best all-time slides you will see.
Another one, 112 to the Oppo ground ball. It also just kind of speaks to a little bit of what ground balls are. You know, ground balls are really hard hit a lot of the time. So that's why sometimes sinker ballers will get dinged on like exit velo stuff. But they're just getting ground balls. Ground balls are generally hit pretty hard. Minnesota 526.
There, stepping out.
This one's 106. This isn't even one of them.
There's a
That's the crap out of that, though, just for fun. This isn't it either. This is probably it. Yeah, this is another ground out. And this one's 113.
will be next.
Again, though, chopped in the ground. I just don't believe in those that much. At A's 813. I think this one's impressive, actually. A's Rays. Yeah, look at this ball. Look how quickly this ball gets up the gap.
Here's the pitch. Caminero line drive over the leaping Hernandez. That'll get into the left
Low line drive hits hard into the wall. So that was crushed. That was sick. That's worth looking at the swing. There's just this moment in his swing where he kind of stretches out right here. And I think that's where the pop really comes from. Because he's a big dude, but I wouldn't say he's not O'Neal Cruz big, you know? I guess it's this moment in time right here when the Thunder's about to be dropped. All right, we're almost through these. Washington, 829 times 2.
Evaluate kind of what
On 12.3.
Which young players can be part of the next.
See the pitcher's reaction?
God. We want to get back to players. Which young players can be part of the next.
Damn. And then there's another one here. Maybe it's this one. Yep. Same pitcher too. Hits this ball so hard he can't even get a double off of it. He's not even at first base and Wood's throwing the ball in. So sucks to suck there. And then Royals 429. 3 more left. This is the very beginning of the season. 429, not 329. What am I talking about? This is a 111 homer. My God. Yeah, it's this one off Urseg. So even like the ones that are like, you can just imagine. Oh my God, that ball had so much hair on it. You can see it spinning right here from the camera angle. This is sick. Oof. So like, even if you go down to like 110, like there's like a million of these. That's how hard this guy's hitting the ball consistently. That's why he's so special. It's that simple. It's just that one tool. I think the swing is a little too busy, but hopefully working with Yandy Diaz will help him. You know, curious actually, can we look at, let's just take a moment here to look at Yandy Diaz's swing path and attack angle. Because I think it's very useful. All right, yep. Yandy Diaz, attack angle 3 degrees, so he's a lot steeper. This is why he hits a lot of ground balls. However, this helps him not get beat as much by other guys. Also, attack direction 7 degrees oppo. So again, it's all predicated on going the other way. Swing path tilt is 24, so it's a lot flatter swing than most guys are producing. That's why people are trying to attack him with sinkers, trying to get below the barrel. The problem is opposite field ground balls with velocity on them, there's a lot of hits there. So you're kind of playing into his game a little bit if you don't execute and jam him or get him to pull the ball. Off-speed pitches, this gives him a chance to catch those out front because he's so dialed in to going to right field. And he does that all while still having above average bat speed. So to me, this is such a good approach that's so undervalued and not taught enough in the game today. Really hard to face. And I think if Junior Caminero can let just a smidge of this rub off on him, he's got a chance to get to a judge-ish level, or maybe slightly below. I mean, maybe that's a little bit crazy to say. But then if he can like get more hits to go along with his power, and he doesn't have to swing as much all the time or as hard all the time, he can pick his spots a little better. I think his OPS and all his numbers will jump through the roof. Because right now, everything that Caminero is doing is really predicated on power. 844 OPS with 40 dingers, you would expect a 900 OPS. But he doesn't really walk. 304 on base, 263 average, which is fine. But those numbers can get better. And a lot of it is his chase. But I think if he's on the fastball, I think he'll chase less, potentially. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how this kind of plays out. But it's always interesting to see when a young guy's around an older guy, and how that older guy rubs off on that younger guy. As time goes on, you're always going to be borrowing stuff from your teammates. And as I was watching a little bit of the highlights last night, I was definitely wondering what he's learning from Yandi. So thought that was interesting. All right. When using Savant's movement chart, is it better to use the 100 pitch sample chart or the proportional to usage chart? Okay. Let's see. Like for Christian Javier, yeah, the 100 pitch or the proportional to usage. I just think the proportional to usage chart just kind of makes it easy to see what he throws the most of. Those are the biggest numbers, the biggest circles. Like you see the red circle is bigger than the green circle, and the other circles, that means he's throwing mostly fastballs. And then it makes it a lot easier and cleaner to see where his pitch average is relative to where league average is, which is these dots with the checkered lines in them. But I like to use this. I don't know why. I just like seeing the pitch plots. And then this arm thing that comes out from the side, that's his arm angle. So that's showing you kind of where the arm comes out relative to north-south. But I guess that's just a personal preference. What I do love now that I hadn't noticed until a few days ago, that if you click on a pitch on the bottom, it'll tell you right then and there how it relates to other pitches. So, if I look at the sweeper, 2.9 inches more break versus righties, 0.7 more drop versus righties, moves towards first base, etc., etc. So I like that. Regarding tipping pitches, say a guy has something on a pitcher and they become teammates. Do they tell him, or does he wait till like the playoffs until he knows they're going to be long-term teammates? I guess everybody goes about this differently, but I think for the most part, like, information's going to travel. Guys kind of lose their loyalty necessarily once they go to a new team. Like, the idea is to win. So sometimes if you have something on somebody that can help, you're pretty likely to share that information with your teammates. But, I'm sure there's some things that have been kept behind. But in the spirit of competition, I would kind of hope you share a lot with your teammates because, really, like, your friendship's should not be hanging in the balance, whether you tell somebody a little bit of information of you or not. It's the spirit of competition to try to beat each other, given everything you already know about each other. What do you think Brent Strom's influence has been on Skeens? I don't know. I worked with Brent Strom. For those who don't know, he used to be the Astros pitching coach. Before that, he was like a coordinator with us when I was with the Cardinals, coming through the minor leagues. Very knowledgeable guy, old school type of guy, but also like one of the first people to really embrace the data on a really high level. Obviously brought a lot of that to Houston when they were kind of ahead of the game. I don't know what his impact is yet. He's a little bit behind the scenes. I don't think he's hands-on every single day. Maybe he is. I don't know. But he's going to have an influence on certain people in a good way. Very open-minded guy. Definitely loves strikeouts. I'd love to see his thoughts on how a Bubba Chandler can continue to evolve, continue to find his way here in the big leagues. But Strom has a lot of know-how. So if you have a good relationship with him, there's so much information to be kind of harvested out of that brain. That's something that I did in the past. Something I would recommend others to do if they get to work with a guy like that. All right, I think we're almost done here. We've had an awesome stream today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. What else do I have in here? Giants, 10 of 11. Matt Chapman, huge game. So this was Rock Show. They had a little bit of a tussle the other day. Did anybody see that? Giants and Rockies. My guy Freeland getting into it with the Giants. He's a competitor. I'm not surprised. He got a little ticked off, but got himself ejected in the first inning the other day. A little crazy. All right, Matt Chapman is going to hit 2 homers and a double. So we'll watch that. This will be the last thing we'll watch from yesterday. It's a dinger off Herman. I love Herman Marquez, but this is just a first pitch. I'm trying to get ahead of you, dinger. You can see how that ball travels. It's a get-me-over fastball, 93.5. He's got more in the tank than that. 105.3 at 26. It goes 450, so there's the Coors effect. But again, Coors isn't the number one spot for homers. It's deep as hell out there. That's 415. That gap's probably more like 425. But it used to always used to amaze me. Always used to amaze me every day in BP how often the balls would go out over here. Giraffe Neck Mark, thanks for joining the chat. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging with us. But I want to point out something on the metric here. I always talk a little bit about the Coors Field effect, and really we haven't broken down much of it yet. But this is a 12.9 vertical four-seam fastball. That is way below average. Herman Marquez has an above-average amount of lift on his fastball at sea level. That is the penalty for being at mile high. The air just doesn't interact with the seams the way that it does at sea level. Therefore, this ball cannot carry to a really awesome location and resist gravity the way it would at sea level. And Matt Chapman's all over this pitch. I mean, it's also just middle away, middle is trying to throw a strike one. As a pitcher, usually tip your cap to something like this. But this is why I am so gung-ho on location and execution as the reason for everything. Because I pitched in this House of Horrors. And really, it did come down to execution even that much more. All right, the wife wants to go to lunch, so we're wrapping this up in a minute. Then there was a walk, and then here's a double.
Team looks different than most Giant teams we've seen.
Ball.
Chapman, Wilmer Flores. These are guys with significant offensive damage.
So what was this? Another four-seam? This time the vert's only 8.9, so that's extremely below average. I don't know if this is actually a four-seam or a sinker attempt, but a good job staying inside it. Again, in Coors, hit the ball in the air, get it to the outfield. You're going to be rewarded. 101.6 is easily off the fence there for a double. And then here's the second homer. Let's watch the at-bat off of Juan Mejia. Slider strike. Yeah, inside-out swing, getting that carry is crazy. You get used to it when you're there. You just sort of assume everything's going to go 30, 40 feet further. But yeah, that's being used to watching games at sea level. The ball just doesn't travel like that. You're going to get side spin on a ball like that, inside out. You know, it would have faded differently, but that's the mile high effect. Fastball up away, doesn't get over the barrel. Again, 10.6 inches vert there. That affected that. Then he's going to smash this slider. Up away. 105.2 at 24. Hits it to probably the deepest part of almost any park in the big leagues. Still sneaks it out over the wall for a homer. And it's a huge night. And, you know, again, the ball just doesn't break, dude. 14.7 on the slider here, so this is a sweeper type, but it just doesn't get far enough away. He's able to get barrel to it. And the Giants, they're rolling. I'm not fully ready to freak out about it yet. Let's see how they keep going, but they are rolling. All right, let's wrap it up. The wife wants to go to lunch. This has been all so crazy, and I lost track of time. 1 hour, 50 minutes. Wow. All right, probable pitchers. Rangers Suarez, Freddie Peralta. Great matchup today. Philly and Brewers. Peralta is rolling. I believe he's on a scoreless streak. He was just pitcher of the month. Blake Snell, Paul Skeens. Also, wonderful, wonderful matchup here. I don't know. Not much to say. Just watch that game. Logan Allen, Ryan Pepio. Can the Rays keep going? They're starting to feel it again. Hendricks and Noah Cameron. Angels, Royals. Frazier, Ellard, and Taj Bradley in Minnesota. Yankees, Carlos Rodon, Christian Javier. We talked about that. That's the last game. Yankees trying to win that series. Astros trying to win that series. So pretty good rubber match here. Rodon's been awesome. Javier, as we just looked at, been better than I realized. So good matchup there. Taj Bradley, the one who said he just learned how to look at a scouting report here when he got to the Twins. He's pitching tonight, so that's funny to me. And again, Blake Snell, Paul Skeens. So I'll be locked in on that. And let's see if Freddie Peralta can get that scoreless streak to 30 innings or so. All right, thanks a lot. Thanks for hanging. Same time. Actually, no, not same time. Tomorrow's Friday. So tomorrow is an MLB stream over on the MLB YouTube channel at 10:30. So join me over there. And then I'll see you back over here on the weekend. The weekend schedule is a little more all over the place. But the weekdays, Monday through Thursday at least, we will be 10 a.m. every day. So thanks for hanging with me. And have a good one, everybody out there.